To Adobe Live Day 1 of Character Design Tips and Tricks with Leanne Van. Welcome, everybody. We see so many friends in the chat already. We've got Sean and Wade and Rin. Hello, good morning, everybody. Or let us know what time it is where you're coming from. It's morning where I am, but Leanne's got a whole nother time slot you're in. It's what, 4 in the afternoon?
It's 4:30 in the afternoon, yes. So I've had the whole day.
Don't you love it? It's just luxurious when that happens.
You look really awake though.
Oh, thank you. I got coffee. I'm ready. We are going to be working on some fashion and characters today, so stick around. It's going to be very inspiring and lovely. If you're watching on YouTube, I just want to give you a quick reminder that we're going to be chatting over on Behance. So if you want to join us, it's behance.net/live or Adobe Live. So come join us. And real quick, Leanne, could you give us a little bit of an intro to who you are and what you do?
Yes. Hi, everyone. And I'm really excited for everyone who's joining in. Thank you so much, whether it's morning or afternoon or the middle of the night. So my name is Leanne. I'm an illustrator and designer. I'm South African, but I'm based in the UK near Liverpool. And my illustrations are very much fashion inspired. I mostly draw people, and I love to incorporate kind of bold patterns and use a lot of monochrome as well to really make things stand out. So when it comes to my illustrations, I think kind of the use of pattern is very important, like I mentioned. So you'll see throughout, and with what I'll be doing today, it's kind of how do you use some iconic prints to really give your illustrations a bit of a unique feel. And also to kind of give yourself a bit of a signature style as well. I think it helps to have that little something extra that is unique to you.
Agreed. I love these patterns already so much.
Thank you.
They're great.
So this is like a super bold 60s inspired kind of look and feel, which I really like. And I think the more you play around with like those bold contrasting shapes, it actually gets a bit addictive. So sometimes I might need to pull myself out of the wormhole.
No, go deeper.
But here's a little bit more of like a lifestyle illustration. So this would be something you'd use more in an editorial. So, but I've still incorporated, you know, the bold pattern. And that's why I also love working in Adobe Frescoes, because you have the vector elements, and then you have the pixel brushes, which is the more textured kind of lines that you can create, which I've used here. So I really do enjoy playing around with that.
For sure.
And yeah, this is kind of just an overview, and then also just a look at this one, which is a little bit more colorful as well. Sometimes I pull myself away from the black and whites and play around with some other colors as well. So yeah, that's a little bit of an overview of what my visual style is. So
I love that you're very color oriented, but then you have that like graphic black to white as well. That's pretty amazing to have that kind of range.
Thank you.
I everybody's loving the patterns and everything. Rin says, "Hello, Leanne. So excited to see your work today. Such lovely patterns."
Thank you.
And thank you, Wade, for dropping Leanne's Instagram down below. It's Leanne Van Loves. So cute. And we can just jump into what you want to work on today. You said you were using Adobe Fresco?
Yes, sure. So I am going to be using Adobe Fresco. So I'm going to be working on here completely today. And I am working on my iPad Pro, just so that you guys have a bit of insight. So it's good old, you know, Apple Pencil, iPad Pro. So that's how I work. And how I start off is I always start off with a mood board.
Yes. So it's so good.
This is the wormhole I was chatting about a little bit earlier when we were offline. Is I kind of went into this whole 60s mod wormhole because of like the bold clashing prints, the black and white, the high contrast.
Style.
So yeah, so I decided I'm going to create 2 to 3 characters based on this mood board. So I'm going to draw 3 women, kind of with like the bold patterns, the crazy sunglasses, maybe some mad earrings.
Yes.
And yeah, and what really helps if you are looking to start an illustration, whatever your style is to kind of just know what your color palette is as well. So you can see I've pulled it out on the side, because then I like to work with a slightly more restricted color palette, because then I don't spend too much time trying to think. I have a chosen color palette and I can just drop it in and play around. So
I love
that's
that
kind
tip.
of my process.
Yeah. And I love that you labeled it mood board. It's really like well put together, even just as inspo. Like I'm messy, so I'm like, here you go, here's some stuff, but you like put it together professionally.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that kind of organization before I start, but I'm not a neat freak. No, don't be fooled by this pristine looking mood board.
No,
this is all put on for show. So what I'm going to do is just working in Adobe Fresco. Like I said, I do have my little touch points on so you can see what I'm doing.
Thank you for that.
But basically what I do is I always start with a pencil, which is just a pixel brush. And I just use that to do kind of like my under sketch. And then I always have my color palette ready. So you'll see I actually have my existing color palettes with all my colors dropped in there already. So that just helps with the workflow. So everything's there set up for me kind of thing.
By the way, Jessica T says, love the mood of that board. And then a black heart, a white heart, and a black heart.
Yay.
On point.
Cool. So I'm just going to get stuck in and just start sketching kind of the, 2 to 3 women that I want to incorporate. And as I work, I'll be working on separate layers per character so that I'm able to shuffle around the composition before I start with my vector illustration.
That's great. Yeah, whatever works for you. I feel like everybody has their own flow, and we love to see it. By the way, do you own any clothes that are like this?
Oh, I feel like a lot of the time I'm drawing what I wish I owned. It's like I'm living vicariously via the characters. So
you're going to be a fashion designer and make these clothes real, yes?
I know. I did actually study a degree that was kind of a combination of a business and fashion degree. So I feel like I'm kind of bringing that into my illustrations a lot.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. So really make these real. I want them all. Especially the reclined figure with the little swoopy marks on the shirt. Want. Very, very much want. My gosh.
And I feel like I do need to pair up with someone who can actually make these clothes for me. I can sew, but it makes me really angry. So I need someone to come on board and do that bit for me.
Imagine Leanne over a sewing machine just being like, ugh.
Trust me, it's not a pretty sight.
Oh no. But yeah, the idea of having things that you draw into the 3D world, I feel like is it's one of those universal things that artists really just want.
Absolutely. Especially when you're creating things digitally, sometimes you actually question whether it's even real because it doesn't exist in the real world. So it's nice when you can actually see it physically.
Exactly. I agree.
So I'm kind of just creating, let's say, like the skeleton composition of what I want to do. So I'm just figuring out kind of just like the body, where it's placed.
It's already beautiful.
Thank you.
You have such a graceful way of sketching. I feel like your lines just have like a really smooth, and I mean, maybe it's because of the color, but like a calming effect.
Oh, thanks. I do prefer sketching in color. I don't know why. It just seems less severe than going straight in with like a black pen or pencil type of look.
So true.
Which is all in the mind, but
If it's in the mind, it's real to your brain.
That's
right?
True.
By the way, we've got a quick question in the chat.
Sure.
Any specific reason why you chose this color palette? It looks wonderful. Just curious.
So I've actually been using, I'd probably say for a solid 4 years, I've been using this color palette. Like I kind of just, it found me, or I found it as I was drawing, and I kind of added on more of these greeny tones. It was initially more of the blue, but I think it just works because you got the warm color, the warm colors, the cool colors, and I've got the contrast. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think just through drawing quite a lot and just playing around, I kind of settled on a color palette.
Definitely.
And even though I of course do things outside of that color palette, whenever I'm drawing for myself, I kind of navigate back to that just because I feel like it has everything I need to be happy. So why would I change?
I love that though. Yes. Thank you for the question. Approva R. Thank you for that. Because I love that answer that you kind of just found you, you found it. It all comes together. Serendipity.
Definitely. And I think also if you're creating a lot of kind of mood boards and kind of just gathering images that work for you and that say something, you'll somehow just find a color palette that suits you.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So trial and error, go for it.
Exactly.
And how many colors do you limit yourself to?
I would say it depends on the visual, but I normally just try use one primary bright color and then maybe a monochrome print or a contrast color. So I do keep it quite restricted just because I feel like it can make the illustration more striking then with a restricted color palette.
There's a quote somewhere about an artist, or from an artist, I believe, that said something like limitation breeds creativity, something like that. I'm probably butchering it, and I'm sorry. If you know who it's from, feel free to say it in the chat, because the chat knows
makes
all.
Sense.
It definitely does. It's exactly, I mean, you can see it in your work that you are not limited by color necessarily. The color frees you. Like, you don't even have to think about it.
Wow. Very philosophical.
You know, in the morning, I like to get philosophical. Oh, I would love to know a little bit about your background as well. Could you tell us where you found art or it found you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I've always been kind of creative, always loved art. And I actually had initially my first job was working for a fashion retailer, being a trainee buyer, because I thought that would be a creative job. But then I realized it was kind of just like doing what you're told to do, copying what you need to do, like kind of like with no real creative spark, I felt. So I kind of then decided that it wasn't quite for me. So, and also I suppose it depends what retail you're with, but it was a fast fashion retailer. So it was just very like, you know, cut costs, let's just make this, doesn't matter, let's go. Yeah. So there wasn't really much like product development in a way that could really show a lot of creativity.
For sure.
So I kind of decided to try a little bit more of a creative career. And then I actually basically just started drawing and illustrating. I basically just taught myself how to use Illustrator to begin with, because I didn't even know how to use it. And I think that's a nice thing. It's if you want to learn any of the creative programs, you really can just do it yourself. You don't need a degree in it. You don't need to have studied it at college. You can kind of just, you know, learn. There's so many resources, like seriously. So yeah, that's what I did. And then I actually went into consumer product design. So I started doing licensed products, which was like kids fashion and merchandise.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, then I just started focusing more on my actual illustrations, and I went fully freelance as an illustrator about 3 years ago.
Wow, 3 years.
Yeah.
How's freelance treating you?
Good. I think it was a massive adjustment, just realizing that I think it's just the amount of work you have to put into like self-promotion and motivating yourself. But definitely worth it, you know, if you just keep pushing through, because you can actually just start doing what you enjoy and what you like, and not have to necessarily listen to a boss, even though being your own boss does come with its own hurdles.
Definitely.
Like actually giving yourself leave.
Oh my gosh, right? Okay, so when was the last time you planned a vacation for yourself?
No, so actually I've been quite good this year. I actually did go on a week's leave of like a few weeks, 2, 3 weeks ago.
Great
So
job.
yeah, I've kind of forced myself now to actually take leave, have a
Everybody in the
holiday, have a
chat,
break.
take notes, be like Leanne.
It's difficult though. You have to get to that stage, definitely.
For sure. But we love to see it because that's something that I found most people who do freelance forget very often. It's like, take care of yourself.
That is so true. Don't be a horrible boss to yourself, basically.
Exactly. Great way to put it. By the way, we have another question in the chat from Ferry asking,
Sure.
did you start with traditional first or straight to digital?
I did start with traditional. So basically, when I started back in the day, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, let's say 7, 8 years ago, I started trying to create digital illustrations. I would draw on paper, scan into Illustrator, live trace, then
Wow.
create my artwork. So it was a very like manual process, not that the results were okay. So yeah, I did definitely start traditionally, but I think once I started properly going digital, it kind of opened up the opportunities because you can just play around so much more, and it's a lot more versatile, I think.
Absolutely.
Especially with color, that solid color you can get from digital illustrations, amazing.
Lasso tool it in or whichever technique you use, doing that
Yeah,
traditionally
normally
is
just normally like paint bucket it in, and it's so exciting. It's like it's like I'm sure you remember when you were a kid making like really bad art on like
what? No, I was a prodigy from the
stuff like
beginning.
that. Yeah, the paint tool. So it's kind of like exciting that you
Yeah.
can do that, but it actually doesn't look horrific.
Oh, I love it. Oh, Anthony Jackson has another question. Where did you get your inspiration from when designing these clothes? I think we have a whole layer to show you.
Yeah, so I'll quickly just show this, just my mood board that I'm working off. But I do trawl the internet, I trawl stock images, and I kind of pull that inspiration because I think that's what kind of gets the spark going. I think it's important to never copy an image as you see it, because it also stunts your own creativity. Rather just look at a whole bunch of things and just see what sticks with you and kind of go with that, I would say.
By the way, Wade found, thank you, Wade, the actual quote I was trying to go for. Apparently, it was kind of the opposite, not in meaning, but in the way it's said. So Orson Welles apparently said, quote, "The absence of limitation is the enemy of art." So same meaning, just different way of saying it.
It makes sense.
There you go. And Ferry says it reminds me of Eric Johansson's quote from TED. The tools are out there. The only thing that things that limit us are our imagination.
Nice. I love that.
By the way, Jessica T would love to know what brushes you find yourself using frequently in Fresco.
Do you know what? When it comes to the brushes, and I know this sounds super boring, but I've actually whittled it down to mostly using the pencil.
Yes.
So basic, but it's because you'll see as I do the layers, I usually use a pencil at the end to add a bit of texture when it comes to the shading. And I just find that it just works, and I love it. So I know it's not very extravagant, but that's what it is. So I use a lot of vector shapes, and then when it comes to pixel brushes, I actually mainly use the pencil, and then I also use like a thick paint brush to do like some of the bold patterns.
Nice. Yeah, super textury. The pencil brush is also my favorite. You've I think we have similar tastes. Yes.
That's so funny.
It's just great, you know, and like I was saying, those marks that you're making with your sketches are just so like they have a soft thick to thin kind of effect, and I think that's the pencil brush just works so well to make those.
Exactly. My Fresco is having a second. Let me just give it some love.
Fresco needs a moment. Just let's take a deep breath in through the nose Out through the mouth.
Also mourning for the fresco.
You know how it is with fresco. Sometimes it's just like, we need a break.
Here we go. We're back on track.
And we've got 2 people already. Oh my gosh. You're so fast. This is lovely.
This is the easy part though, I guess, because sometimes when you know you're doing something rough, you actually do it way better because you don't have that extreme pressure on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving them quite a sassy, direct pose because I want them to be like a little bit confrontational. Ooh. And then they're going to have their sunglasses and all their fashion happening, all, you know, like their accessories, their outfits. So
love it. I love big sunglasses. Never get the chance to use them. I live in Oregon, so it's very rainy and dark. At least this time.
I mean, you could just use them ironically and just walk around with.
Be like, I can't see anything, but I look really cool.
Exactly.
I like it. Like I was saying before, though, this picture behind your artwork, your artwork behind your artwork, it's all artwork, but the sleeves on it, I need something like that where it's just like
the giant puff sleeves.
Yes,
I know.
I think everybody should be given one puff sleeve shirt in their life just to see, you know, does this feel like you? And I think 90% of people would just be like, yeah, I'm a puff sleeve person.
I mean, if you were wearing that with your massive dark glasses, I think you just make the best kind of statement.
Attitude all the way. Hey, Sean Cosell apparently just got back from Oregon. The weather was nice. Wow, good job. No, you brought the nice weather with you. No, actually, yesterday was wonderful. By the way, yeah, we can talk about it with the chat. How was your Halloween? Did you have fun?
I had a really good Halloween. It was nothing crazy. Like, we basically just decided to make a really nice Sunday roast, stay in, have some red wine. So we didn't do the conventional Halloween. We were expecting a lot of kids to knock on the door, but because I live in England, it was completely raining cats and dogs. There weren't a lot of kids out. They kind of sprinted out, did a bit of trick-or-treating, and then went home. So
just like, I can't keep this up.
I know, it was just too much.
That's why you work an umbrella into your costume, you know?
Exactly.
Did you dress up at all?
I didn't.
What would you want to dress up as? Dream Halloween costume?
Oh, I don't know. What would your choice be? I feel like there's too many options. It's like almost choice paralysis.
But I feel like, I don't know, you design these costumes, or not necessarily costumes, fashion items, and I feel like you know, you got to design your costume someday.
That's true.
I've always wanted to do, if you know Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's an animated series.
Yes.
It's amazing. They have the different nations, and all the different nations have such a distinct style and fashion to them. I always wanted to design a costume from each of them and then make them happen in real life.
That sounds amazing.
That's the dream. 4 costumes. I'm cheating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, but
oh, it would be an impossible amount of work. I have no energy to put anything together, so it's just a thought.
Did you dress up for Halloween at all?
Yeah, actually, the day before Halloween, my friend Anthony and I stream regularly on Behance, and so we did a Halloween stream, and we actually have part of it right here, these goggles. Woo. So colorful. This is part of it was steampunk, but outfits, but then we called them streampunks because we're just a couple of streampunks.
That's amazing. I would probably love to do kind of like a Mad Max Halloween outfit. That would, now that you're saying steampunk, I'm like, that would actually be really cool.
Do it. All right, start working on it for next year. It's basically how much time we need. Like,
yeah, exactly. To start sewing. And you know how much I hate sewing, so this is going to be an issue for me.
The angry sewer. Exactly.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I've kind of done the composition, the layout. I'm happy with the scale of everyone. So now I'm just going to add on some of the accessories, like as a sketch layer, just still my rough sketch with my chunky pencil. And then, yeah, then the under sketch will be done. So then I kind of know what the artwork's going to look like already.
Perfect. I can see it coming together so quickly already. It's amazing.
I think I need to do kind of like really oversized glasses, sunglasses.
Yes. The bigger the better. This is when, I mean, if you want to draw it on a separate layer, then you can size it up and down and just be like, boom.
Exactly. That's actually a very good point. I do that when I'm working in the vector layer. I do everything on separate layers because it's good to be able to edit it after the fact, because often you draw something and then if it's stuck on the same layer, you're like, oh, you have to kind of start again or try make a plan to copy it. And
seriously, oof. Apruva says, I'm already so fascinated by the hairstyles.
Yay. Yeah, so these are all like 60s mod inspired hairstyles. So you've got kind of the lob, the long bob, you've got the super short bob, got a bit of a fro happening here, and I think I'm going to add like this darkness here is probably like a checkered headband or something.
Nice.
So I'm kind of figuring out what the accessories are going to look like as I go.
So we've got sunglasses, hairband, and then the last one will have something. We'll see.
Yes. So I think I'm going to give, just because I can, I think they're all going to have an awesome pair of sunglasses.
More sunglasses. Woo.
But they won't be, I think they'll be kind of like rose tinted, so you can see through them a little bit.
Nice. I like that. They've all got rose colored glasses. Seeing the best in the world.
Very symbolic.
Oh, Sleeman is asking, are you from Norway?
Not at all. I'm
not even close, but
I'm actually from South Africa, so complete opposite side. But I mean, you know, at least you try to guess. It's fine. I've heard all sorts of like guesses, and Norway's probably, it's the first time I've heard Norway, but thanks for asking.
Definitely. So you moved from South Africa to the UK. How are you liking the UK?
Good. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I had to get used to was just the cold winters, which I think I've acclimatized to now. I've understood like the massive coat that you need in your life to just keep you warm. And then I think just adjusting to the sun setting so early in winter. I mean, now it's the hour, you know, went back yesterday, forward, back. I never know which way, but either way, the sun setting an hour earlier.
Something about time. I don't know.
I know it's just too much for me when I try to calculate all of that. But yeah, the sun is now setting around 5. Like it's pretty much dark now. So it's a little bit grim, but you can get through it with lots of carbs and distractions.
I like that attitude. Yes. Well, and it makes you go out whenever it's a sunny day, right? Like, oh, better take advantage.
Absolutely. Definitely. You appreciate it a lot.
Definitely. By the way, Sleeman says that they are from North Africa. Woo! Got Africa representing. Love it.
Cool. So I think I've got, I don't know, these glasses, these square glasses, I'm going to work on a bit, but when I get to the next layer, because they look a little bit whack, but I think I can make them work.
I love them, especially with that central figure having such a strong shape.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, zero in.
And I think I might even put pattern inside the glasses as well, just to make them super crazy.
I love it. Yes, go crazier. And this is just day 1 of Leanne here on Adobe Live. So we're going to be here for day 2, same time tomorrow. Very excited to see that. Also, Alessandra says, when did you start doing character design?
Excuse me. So So I started I went full freelance 3 years ago when it comes to illustration. But I think when it comes to drawing people, I've been doing it just forever. So, but digitally, I would say probably 3 years where I've actually really been honing in on it. I think, especially when you change to drawing digitally, if you haven't done it before, you really need to find your style, because a lot of things can look really flat, unless that is what you're going for. But you know, to add that bit of vibrancy, you really need to work on your style quite a bit. So I'd say it probably took me like a full 2 years to really digitally develop my look, if that makes sense. Because you do have to create a lot of really unfortunate looking things, which is fine, and you just don't beat yourself up about it.
Unfortunate looking, I like that. When you come across something like that, an unfortunate drawing or something like that, do you tend to start again, or do you work on it until you feel better, or what's your approach?
I don't know, sometimes I can overwork something, and it's just, some things can't be saved, and you kind of just have to be like, you know what, I tried, that doesn't quite work. Sometimes you can salvage things, but often also sometimes you're trying to force yourself to draw in a certain style or something that's not quite you. So you kind of just have to keep going, weed out the things that don't work. And I think it's good to look back at what you've done, even if it's quite disturbing to you, because then you can actually see some progress.
Quite disturbing.
You know?
It's so true, though. Seeing progress is a huge thing. I love that.
Definitely.
Have you been posting your artwork online for a long time?
Yes, yeah. So I have my Instagram account at Leanne Van Loves, and then I have my website, leannevan.com, which is where I've really built up my portfolio. And it helps to do that because then you can see all your stuff together. I also have my Behance portfolio. And it's quite nice when you see everything together visually. You can actually figure out from that what your signature look is, because sometimes you can't even figure it out yourself until you see all your work together. And yeah, it really does help.
I definitely agree.
Figure it all out.
It is a very smart thing to do, to figure out all of it together, like what you say to the world, basically, because it's hard to know what you're creating.
Exactly.
Are you starting in with the vector brushes?
Yeah, so what I've done now is, you'll see on the layers side, I added a dark background just because I like that contrast, just so I can see what I'm doing. And then I added an extra layer, which is now my vector brushes. So I normally just use a basic brush because I'm creating these outlines so I can fill in a solid shape. So these are kind of creating the foundations of the blocks of color that I'm going to add details on top of. And I'm actually just drawing in terms of the lay, I'm drawing the vector shapes under my sketch, just so that I can not cover up the lines and actually see where everything's being placed.
Smart. Constantly covering things and being like, wait, what was I doing again?
So I'm basically just blocking out the skin tones first, because I just want to see where those are going. And you can see now that I've filled it in, it makes a little bit more sense.
Love it. And did you use one of your colors from your limited color palette?
Yes, I did. So I have a separate skin tones palette that I'm always expanding on, but it basically, here I've just got the 3 skin tones specifically for this illustration. So you'll see I'm starting off quite light and then going gradually darker. And also with skin tones, you do have to be careful because they can look a bit off. They can have a weird tinge to them. So you also need to just play around, see what works, see which skin tones look fresh, because often they can have like a weird undertone if you're just pulling off colors that you see even from an actual photo. The colors don't always read well. So you kind of just have to play around. When you find the right tones, that's why I've saved them, then it's easy for you to refer to, because skin tones are a tricky element sometimes.
Oh, all the time. I mean, skin itself, if like you were saying, if you're looking at reference, you could pick colors from all over a person's, even just like a cheek or something, and have 50 million different colors.
Exactly.
There's so many options.
So as I'm working on each character, I'm adding a different layer because each character needs to be its own thing. Otherwise, you can't edit them individually.
Smart of you to think of it now. I usually do that halfway through and I'm like,
This is only through trial and error, let's be honest.
Wait, you learn from your mistakes? That's so smart.
Oh, sometimes.
Also, I love seeing do you do the hand-drawn outline and then it fills in, so you're just like, yeah, just look at that, look at the split, but you still get the hand-drawn element of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so my faces aren't symmetrical or anything. They might look symmetrical, but they're actually not. But I prefer it that way because then it just gives them a little bit more character as well.
Mm-hmm. Apruva says, I was struggling with skin tones for literally 30 minutes today, lol.
If you found your skin tones found your skin tones, I hope you saved them.
Exactly. Keep them safe, keep them secret.
Oh, let me not forget her ears. I really see them behind her. Oh, what am I doing? Behind her massive glasses, but I do need to add her ears in because might see them once I move the glasses. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Safety.
Exactly.
Safety ears.
Safety ears.
Do you have your safety ears? Okay, we're ready to go.
I mean, if you didn't have ears, how would your glasses stay on?
It's indeed. A great question. I've drawn many an animal that I'm like, oh, I want to put glasses on them, but they kind of just float like a frog. Like how do?
That's so funny.
By the way, Alessandra is asking, how long does it take you to draw hands and feet? Those are my least favorite.
Yeah, that is a good question. You know what? Sometimes I go super minimalist on the hands because for your own sanity, it depends kind of the angle of the hand, but like often I'll have a hand on the hip or a hand clutching a bag. Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit easier because, you know, you can just add some suggestive lines for the shadows. But if you're doing a full-on complex hand, it does take me a while. Luckily, you can like refer to your own hand, although you can't always get the right angle.
Like, how do okay, well.
But what I often do is I actually take photos of my own hand. So I'll like this sounds very like, I don't know, vain or whatever, but it's not for those reasons. But I'll pose in front of the mirror as I want my figure to pose, take a photo, just for that reference. And I think often we forget about actually just using a reference because we think we can just draw, but you often draw what you think something looks like, and then it actually can come out a bit weird. Yes. So I would suggest having like a nice reference sheet to always like look back on.
Absolutely. I always think of, you know, if you draw like a Pokemon or something from memory or whatever, you know, like a serial character or something, yes. You can see how much your brain does not remember. And then you draw it with reference and it's like, whoa, way better.
It's really true. Even with drawing a face, I mean, not that I'm trying to be super realistic, it is very stylized, but often you'll draw a figure, the eyes are really big. And then when you look at an actual human's face, you realize our eyes are not that pronounced. So it's like always good to refer back to what people actually look like.
Which is so funny. I feel like that's something in human psychology that we make the eyes bigger. Like,
that's so true.
Bigger windows to the soul.
I know. So I'm just taking away a little bit of the skin tone here because that's where I want the hair to actually be. Okay, so I've got like the basic skin tones. I've got, this, does she need to be in front of her? Yes. So I'm reordering the layers here because they're all separate. So again, always keep your layers separate.
For sure.
But that just comes through practice, I think. Like you said, you will sometimes forget to do it and then you'll hate yourself because you'll be in like such a mess because everything's all one layer.
Absolutely, but thank goodness, even if you accidentally have them out of order or whatever, then now as long as they're on the same layer, like the right things are on the same layer, then you can reorganize.
Exactly. So I think I'm gonna go, I don't know if this first figure should be blonde or like dark brown, like a brunette.
Would you like to ask the chat?
Yes.
We can have a little vote.
Please. So I'm not sure if this woman on the left, so I'm referring to this one on the far left over here. I'm not sure if she should have blonde hair or if she should have like dark brunette hair as a contrast to her skin. Let me know what you think.
All right, chat, chime off quick as you can. Blonde or brown? What do you think? The chat always loves to give input, so this is really a gift.
Well, that's a nice thing because often you're just designing on your own and you're in your own head, so
absolutely
good to have third party opinions.
Very much so. I love it all the time, having just a third, fourth, 50th pair of eyes.
Yeah, it helps.
What do you think? Sean says contrast, which I think means dark brunette.
Yeah, must be. Yeah, because she has super white skin. I think she's living in an area that hardly sees any sun, like me.
Yeah, exactly.
My winter coat.
It's like a down quilt. Swear that out to the shop. Oh, Rin coming in with a hot take as a totally different color, saying strawberry blonde. Whoa.
Oh, that's actually true. Why am I going for traditional hair colors? Oh, what was I thinking?
Oh, how dare. No. It's whatever you want.
Well, that's a nice... on. Carry on. Sorry.
Sean just said, no sun, UK or Oregon. Either one.
Yeah. So the nice thing is with these hair colors, I'm doing them as a layer underneath and they're all vector, so I can actually play around. So I'm going to choose whatever color and then we can just see what looks good.
Definitely. Oh, and Anthony Jackson seconds strawberry blonde. Interesting. Interesting. We will see.
Well, let's see. I'm going to choose, where am I? There's my color tones. I'm just going to go for this like really bright pink. We can play around with it.
Of course.
But the fact that you said strawberry blonde made me think, let's think a little bit out the box. Wait, so maybe not strawberry blonde, but strawberry.
There you go. Boom. Just I'm a berry. Wade says, if that's the case, blue, purple, blurple. Suddenly all the colors. What's your favorite color? Make the hair that. Oh, that is cute.
I don't know what you think being an illustrator yourself, but I don't know if I can ever have a favorite color because there's just always shades of color you discover and then that's your new favorite color.
Absolutely. Well, and it always takes context, don't you think? Like your favorite color for your hair might not be your favorite color for your wall or
that is so true.
That is so cute.
So I don't know about this lady on the far right if I'm loving that hair, but we can always like play around with it. And then I'm thinking with this lady in the middle, I'm going to give her some highlights in her hair where this light's catching, and that could be like a pop of pink or something.
Cute.
So I'm still going to play around with it.
I'm very into this idea.
So I'm going to go in and just do the shapes just for the actual clothing now, just so that we have those solid shapes in. And if anyone has missed the beginning, just so that I can quickly fill you in, this is my mood board, my inspiration. So I'm kind of going for these high contrast shapes, geometric shapes, patterns. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Absolutely. And we're going to have to get some black and white in here, don't you think?
Definitely. So because I just want to block out the color of her top, I'm just going to go for a white, and I'm actually just drawing a different layer, And the reason I'm doing that is because when I add the pattern, I might want to fill the pattern into that layer and be able to draw it within a mask. So then I don't want it to go over to the skin tone.
Good technique. Oh yeah. Love it when you can just more easily shape things because you've already done the work on top of it.
Exactly.
It goes so fast.
So
oh, sorry.
I normally just, sorry, were you saying something, Anna?
I was just gonna say the brush becomes your lasso tool in a way, which is cool.
Oh yes, that's so true. Yeah, so you'll see there's nothing that exciting about the silhouette of what she's wearing, but I'm kind of just blocking it out for now. And then I'll see if I feel like adding a little bit more as I go, but at least I've got this basic body shape there.
Perfect.
Okay, so this lady over here.
By the way, Wade says, does that bottom left reference image have striped eyeliner? Probably.
Yes, there. I'll show it to you guys again just now. I think there was like something crazy happening there with the makeup, which I love.
Oh, of course.
It might not translate to an illustration. That's the one thing I've realized. Sometimes a good photo doesn't make a good illustration because it doesn't make sense. So you'd be like, but what are those lines? You won't like see that it's whatever it is.
Right. The context is different, so it doesn't quite
exactly
fit.
But
Tennille
yeah,
says,
we're looking.
Oh, sorry. I keep on interrupting. Go ahead.
It's really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's amazing.
Oh, I should have done that today.
That actually.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, get a little eyeliner pen
really
in here
cool.
and do it live. But Tennille said, hi from South Africa. Whoop, whoop.
Hi.
By the way, I read on your website that you have something called the Embrace Project that you're a part of.
Yes.
Or co-founded. What?
Yeah, so it's a non-profit based in South Africa, and it's basically the aim is to creatively combat gender-based violence. And gender-based violence is a huge issue in South Africa specifically. So I partnered with one of my childhood friends. She's a really good friend. Her name's also Leanne, weirdly.
Oh,
we're just mirroring each other in life. But she's an attorney and she kind of looks after the advocacy side of it. So yeah, we basically started this nonprofit just trying to raise awareness, trying to raise funds, trying to change the legislation around protecting survivors, etc. So yeah, that's kind of my passion project, which I bring my creativity into because we use art to raise funds and to create awareness through visuals as well.
Wow, what a perfect marriage of skill sets you guys have.
I know, it's really cool actually, kind of the two contrasting professional fields that actually live together so nicely.
Absolutely. I'm so wonderful.
Full stop.
You're so wonderful, and I'm so glad that you did that and that you're continuing to do it, right? Is that an ongoing project?
Yes, it is. And actually, Tennille that said hello, she's actually one of the artists that has contributed to help us raise funds in the past. So
no way.
She's also really cool. Oh my. By the way, what's happening here is I haven't closed the shape. So now I'm in a world of pain. Let's figure out where the...
Oh no.
We'll figure out where it is. Don't worry. I have a feeling it's somewhere off the canvas here. So let me just close this loop. So the nice thing, like I said, is when you have different layers, you can independently edit. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is sometimes you have to sift through all the layers. No. All the layers to find out where you've gone so terribly wrong. There it is. I see him.
Haha, found the little stamp.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yay! A close shape.
Oh, okay, so I'm just checking. It looks like everything's blocked out. I'm really not liking her hair color. It's just this one is just not even doing anything for me right now.
Not the vibe.
I don't know if that's too... Ooh.
Ooh.
I feel like this could work.
Love it.
That's quite cute because it is like a really like cheeky bob, so it can be a cute color like this candy floss pink.
Love it. I like that. Cheeky bob. I want a cheeky bob.
Cool. So I've got my basic situation happening here. I don't know why I use the word situation, but you know what I mean. So now I need to figure out what I want my like kind of bold splashes to be. And this is when I would go back to my mood board and just see like, okay, so what do I actually really love from this? I love the black and white stripes, the black and white check. And I also love some of the like more candy colors. So you've got kind of like this light pinky color here. You've got like a minty green there as well. Yeah. So I might actually go a little bit more like pastel and black and white.
Love it.
So not exactly what I was planning. I was planning to go a little bit more bright, but it's evolving as we go.
That's the beauty of this. And doing it live, you're going to have a record of basically your thought process through from beginning to end. Like, I thought I would start here, ended up here.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to hone in on just starting with this figure all the way over here with that bright pink hair. So I think before I do anything else with the patterns, I'm just going to add in their accessories.
Nice.
Let me just figure out, I'm just seeing something so weird on my layer. You see this crazy thing here. I'm like, what is that?
I wonder.
This is another layer gremlin coming back to haunt me. Oh, there it is. There it is.
How dare you, layer gremlin.
I know.
Be gone.
They live amongst us. Oh my gosh.
It's frightening and adorable. I love it.
I'm just going to fill out her shoulder a bit because I had to get rid of that person that was annoying us in the background.
By the way, Sean says, we're missing the knee-high boots. Well, you're getting the glasses, so be grateful for what you have. Oh man. And also Wade put a link for the Embrace project in the chat. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. And a reminder that we have Leanne Van here, and you can check out her website in the description. There will be links as well as in the chat. And thank you so much for just tuning in today.
Thank you.
And Leanne, thank you for being here. We're loving your work.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So I'm going to go in now with the accessories. Like I said, I'm going in with the sunglasses, but I'm not going to attempt to do circle sunglasses freehand because you could be watching me for 45 minutes. So I'm going to use this, the drawing aids that are here in the corner.
I can hear experience talking to you.
Well, don't they say only someone who's insane can draw a perfect circle?
So you're not insane.
You know, well, I don't want you to know I am. So
hide it with circles.
Exactly.
Oh,
so these are like crazy Willy Wonka style.
Get the bug eyes going.
Exactly.
Hey, we can match.
Yeah, that's
cool. Got the goggles. It's all good here.
Do they need to be thicker, do you think?
Good question. I don't know. I love them.
I think they're kind of cool. And I'm thinking, like I said earlier, the inside's going to be like rose tinted, so it won't be dark. And these won't necessarily be black. I've just chosen a high contrast color to like put them there. It's all vector at this stage, so I can still edit it.
For sure.
I am going to duplicate at this stage so that I've got the exact same size.
Nice. That's one of the big advantages to having symmetrical, like straight on face, right? You could just
That's so true. Very, very true.
By the way, my best friend Anthony is in the chat. He's recognizing some of the assets from the Halloween stream we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, streampunk?
I'm actually disappointed you aren't wearing those glasses while you're hosting this.
There's no way I could see what you're doing. I wish you could see the inside of them. It's just a kaleidoscope. It's like if you're a fly, you see it 16 times
yes.
refracted, but like rainbow.
Oh my goodness.
It's really
That's
cool.
so funny.
Do you have any really cool glasses that you've gotten?
I don't. I wish I did though.
We got to start getting you the things that you're inspired by.
I know. I feel like that it would just make any outfit worth it.
Absolutely. If anybody has really cool mod glasses or outfits, give them to Leanne.
Yes. Take a photo and tag me in so I can add you to my mood board for the next illustration.
Yes, that would be great.
So what I'm going to do while I'm working on this character, I've just done the glasses. I'm going back to the skin tone layer, the face layer, which is this one that I'm just going to hide so you can quickly see which one it is. And then I'm just going to add some of the solid shapes, so just the whites of the eye, and I'm just going to maybe add the lips as well.
Nice. We have about an hour left of today's Adobe Live, and we're going to be back tomorrow at the same time, so you can see Leanne keep working on these beautiful characters and outfits and patterns. Can you believe it's already been an hour? I feel like
that's crazy. So I'm drawing the pupils first. I do this all the time where I draw, undo. Like it becomes just like an automatic response. And then when I ever go to something like drawing on paper, I try undo. I'm sure you've done the same. Like just becomes a brain like short circuit.
That's how it works. And then you're trying to draw with the digital pen, and then you wipe away the eraser bits when you erase. Like, what's happening?
It's really confusing. It's weird how quickly your brain adjusts to a certain way of working.
Absolutely. And you don't even notice it until something like that happens.
I know. So I just realized I was on the wrong layer. Classic.
No.
Okay, I'm doing this properly. Layer for eyeballs is a separate layer under the glasses. Got it.
So now we can have that rose tint over them. Yeah,
exactly.
We're thinking, using the noodle.
So you can't really see it because it's under this layer of pencil. So I'm actually going to reduce the opacity of the pencil slightly, and then just carry on doing my eyeballs.
I'd be curious to know, all of you in the chat, do you usually keep your sketches above or below as you're painting? What do you do? Because I feel like this is really working to your advantage, Leanne.
Thanks. It does help me just keep track of where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you do this a lot, but let me just see something here. Oh, okay. I thought for my blood went cold. I thought I was on the wrong layer again, but never fear.
Again.
I do a lot of overdrawing a shape in terms of its size, and then using the eraser tool to kind of whittle it down in a way. It's just so easy to do.
You're sculpting with
exactly
color.
So what I'm going to do is I've got the white eyeballs, which you can see over there, and then I'm creating a layer above, and then just what do you call that? Placing it inside, or placing it inside as a mask. And then that means you can draw inside the shape. So I'll show you what I mean by that.
Gotcha.
So I've put that layer in, which means you can see I'm just doing crazy things now, but you can see it only draws within that shape. That looks very freaky.
Yeah, it's a clipping mask. Yeah.
Clipping mask. That is the term I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they are my favorite.
So those are very, very useful.
Absolutely.
And again, that's something you can't do in real life. So sometimes I'll be like painting and somehow confused as to why something doesn't stay within something, because your brain becomes so used to doing things digitally that you almost short circuits in a way.
Does not compute.
I know. Cool. So I've added her pupils, and then I always like to add a little white sparkle in the eye just to
Sparkle,
give it
sparkle.
that little bit of
Shine.
dimension.
Cute. Oh, I love it. Brings so much life to the eyes, I feel like.
It does. So what I'm going to do is I've got, the eye layer. I've done the pupils within that. Then I'm going to add a layer on top, and this top layer is going to be all the line art of the face. So that's going to be like the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the contours of the face.
Nice. Now, the key question, the eyebrows, are they going to go below the glasses line, above them, right at the glasses line? What do you think?
That is a good question. I think they're actually going to be inside the glasses.
Nice.
So what I'm going to do...
bigger glasses so I can do that.
Yeah.
Now they're, encapsulated.
There we go. Beautiful.
I always find that to be a struggle when you're like, oh, with your own glasses.
It's like, are you surprised or just normal eyebrows?
Showing off my brow game,
I think I'm going to have to go pink eyebrows, though. It would just be weird if it didn't match,
I love that. I want to someday do this to my own hair. Just go pink all the way. By the way, Rin says, I had a pair of blue tinted sunglasses when I was a middle schooler. They were rounded and small, so I called them my Aussie glasses, like Ozzy Osbourne. Nice.
I remember I was at some stage obsessed with the singer Anastasia. I don't know if you remember her, and she always had those blue tinted glasses.
Iconic.
Really
I feel like that was pretty popular in the 90s.
Oh yeah, full on.
Funky colors. I think I had some that were yellow. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. It's also really funny how eyebrows change. I actually want to look at my reference here and see what's going on with some of these brows. See, they're actually quite thin. Although these are quite bushy, but I think this is more of a modern editorial. I think they had quite thin brows.
Yeah, usually. And like Twiggy had like no brows, right?
I know.
Anti-brow.
I know. It's actually so weird how things have swung from one extreme to another.
Brows are one of those, you can definitely see like the times with the style of them.
Exactly.
I was just telling you that we were watching Murder on the Orient Express on Halloween, and there were some very thin eyebrows on there.
I can imagine. And thin mustachios.
Oh my gosh. Thin and thick. They're all sorts.
Oh, it's so funny.
There was Sean Connery was actually in it, and he had a very pronounced like curl at the end, thick mustache. It was great.
So funny. So I've got I've gone for a thinner eyebrow after looking at my reference images again.
Always good to use the reference. You can lean on it. She's got a very kind face too, which I think helps with the like how severe the glasses are. She like softens them a little bit.
Oh yes.
Graphic. Like a decoration on her face.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll see when we get there, but I almost feel like these could be like those checkered white and black glasses. So they're going to be like very bold.
Yes, I'm ready for it.
So I've done the brows. I think that looks quite cool. We'll be adding more detail later, probably only tomorrow, but these are, like I said a little while earlier, the basic shapes of the face. And it's actually quite good to see. If I take away the top layer, which is the pencil sketch, you can see that they look quite flat and kind of there's not much to them. Like they look really bland. So this for me is always like the ugly stage of the illustration that I have to get through to get to the other side.
Yes, totally.
Because it's like no detail at this stage, it's just like solid shapes.
Definitely.
So when I put the pencil back over, it looks a lot better in my eyes because now I can see where the detail is going to fall in.
For sure. You can imagine it fully.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lines that are detailing the face at this stage. So I'm going to create a layer, which is not create a layer, carry on with the layer that is the eyebrows, because these are all the top details. And the line arts could be anything. So I have done illustrations where I've gone with like a bright color, for example, and used that as the contour instead of doing black, because black can look quite harsh in this illustration style. So you can kind of figure out where you want to go with it. And this is where I've had to play around a lot and see what I like, what I don't like. I think in this case, because she already has the contrast and the brightness of the hair and the brows, I think I'm going to go for a more natural tone of her face. So I'm going back to my skin tones that I've already prepped. So that is her skin tone. And I'm just going to drag the color to be like maybe around there.
Nice.
And then see if that works.
Yeah, I like that see if that works kind of attitude, because you never know if a color against another color is going to work until you see it.
Exactly.
Also, your lines seem so effortless when you put them down. Like you did all the pink right away, and I was like, so smooth, so nice. Wow.
Often when you're not thinking and you're just quickly doing it, it's so much better than when you do it slowly and your hand starts shaking because you're thinking too much.
Absolutely. By the way, Rin says, love how this is coming along thus far. The strawberry hair is fantastic. Contrasts well with the backdrop too.
Nice. Thank you.
I was going to ask, you obviously concentrate a lot on characters, especially specifically with this piece. What do you usually do when thinking about the background?
That's a good question. So when I'm doing something quite bold and it's going to have a lot of contrast and pattern, I do like to keep the background quite minimalist because, you know, it can be a bit much. That being said, there's nothing wrong with a good pattern clash. Like sometimes it's quite nice to have like a boldness in the back and the front if it works. So you do kind of have to play around with it. I must say I don't normally do like realistic backgrounds. So it is often more of just like a color or a pattern or something abstract in the background versus an actual scene. So that's something that I probably need to work a little bit more on, is like more of a scene. But I just love working with the patterns. I keep on kind of going back to that because it's just so fun to play around.
Absolutely. I find that to be a constant question for a lot of artists, especially character artists. Is like, so how much do you put back there? Because like the emphasis is definitely the characters, right?
I mean, you must be used to doing quite a lot of detailed background, right? Because you do more of a setting versus
when
just
it's
the
full
character.
Illustrated spread for a book or something. It can be somewhat intense, but I find that the more you work with backgrounds, the more you find those shorthands, kind of like you do for characters, where it's like when you work in it for a while, you get to feel like, okay, if there's a field of grass, I know how to handle that. And then they throw you into like a city scene and I'm like, I don't know how to handle that. So it's just like drawing different characters, but they're all backgrounds.
Yeah, because sometimes the background can just take over and then, you know, it doesn't actually recede. So it's quite an art to actually figure out how to keep the background in the background.
That's when it's good to be an artist, right? Love these lips. Are you gonna make them solid or have them lined?
I think I'm gonna do solid, and then I'm wondering if maybe the bottom can be like a bit of a richer red. Just gonna sort out the shape here.
Nice. I always love seeing bold lipstick on people. I've never worn it, but like seeing a really, dark color or something. Like I saw a lot of that on Halloween.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's so nice. You should try it with your steampunk goggles.
It's true. I imagine it makes your teeth look really white and lovely.
That is true. So what I'm going to do is I want to make just the bottom a little bit darker. Where am I here? Oh, I'm in that layer. See, this is a constant layer check. Just when you think you're safe, you'll be in the wrong layer.
You never know.
Exactly.
It's the looming fear.
So I'm just
Nice.
gonna, let me get rid of my top sketch layer just to see.
Ooh.
I think that's cute, but she does look a bit severe. I think she needs a little bit more of a smile, to be honest.
Give her a little smirk. She's Mona
Yeah,
Lisa now.
exactly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna, a lot of the time the smile's actually just in the corners of the mouth. So if I can just play around with the edges here, I think I can come right.
I can see you have a very good understanding of faces. I mean, even just seeing the piece in our background, you have this up view, you know, where you're like looking up at a character.
Oh, yes.
It's so challenging to nail that, and you have nailed that.
Oh, thank you.
Great job.
No, it is. Perspective is like its own beast when you kind of have to do like, I mean, what I'm doing here is definitely more manageable because, like you said, it's head on. Things are more or less symmetrical. You can figure out how the shape of things, whereas if you've got like different angles, that's when everything needs to adjust. There we go. I think she looks a little bit more benevolent now.
She knows something.
She's on to you. And then you can always just add a little dimple, which helps the smile or makes her look more cheeky.
Love it.
So I'm just gonna put my top sketch layer on just to see how I'm tracking.
Very nice. She's coming together. We have to name them, obviously, at some point.
Yes, I think we need those that have tuned in to kind of give us some suggestions, because already the hair suggestions really worked. We've now gone pink. We were going to just stay with like the usual hair tones. So
that was thanks to Rin. Shout out Rin. Woohoo. So we need some great names for these ladies. So I think that obviously right now we're working on their little strawberry pink. I feel like, I don't know, maybe some other name for strawberry. Or just berry.
No, if you're from another country, like as in a non-English speaking country, maybe give us what strawberry is in your language. That could be quite interesting.
Absolutely. I think it's Ringo in Japanese, I believe.
Ooh.
Or no, it's Ichigo. That was it. Ringo is apple. My bad.
Oh, right.
But that's the only other language I know a little bit of. Although, I mean, I should know it in Spanish, right? Making all my teachers disappointed, but they didn't teach me strawberry, so take that.
What were they even doing?
Truly. No, a few colors. We could call her rojo for red.
So you'll see I duplicated the glasses layer, and then I use that just to create a shadow. So that's a really nice option. The shadow, I'm just going to take it away so you can see where it is. It does look a bit harsh, so I'm just going to pull down the opacity slightly.
Nice. Yeah, that's lovely.
I think it's looking good. Her eyes look not quite 60s, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a dark eyeliner. I think I have to go black for this. You could also do like a really crazy color eyeliner, but again, because her hair's already, although let's just see, let's play around.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah.
Oh, Alessandra is saying it's morango or morango in Portuguese.
Ooh, fantastic. I like that.
Oh, Aja is saying, I feel like I always like my illustrations more when I have the sketch layer turned on. It's amazing how much it captured, how much is captured in the first initial sketch, which is a very cool take.
True. I agree. And I think that's why I love the pencil vector brush as a layer on top that I add on for something like the shading, because for that same reason, it just gives it a little bit more character that you often capture in your initial sketch, and then you can lose when you're creating stuff digitally as a vector artwork. It can become very flat. And I think I said earlier, if you see here again, It does. It looks very flat. It's kind of like, oh, I mean, it's okay, but
I love it.
It's lost that spark a little bit, I think. So trying not to lose the spark.
Never lose the spark. It's true though. Yeah, it's basically about saying, okay, I like this, don't lose what I like about it.
That's so true.
It can be difficult. I love this pink eyeliner, by the way.
Yeah, so I decided because it needs to be darker than the surroundings so that you see it. So I decided to go for this very dark pink, almost like a cherry red or cherry pink, cherry red, I guess.
You get all the fruits.
Yeah.
By the way, we have another strawberry. In Indonesia, apparently it's strawberry, which, sorry again if I'm butchering any of the pronunciation for these. And then Alessandra also says it's fresa or fresa, I'm not sure, in Spanish.
Ooh. Oh. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, that is a good name. It's Fresa. How would you say that, do you think?
Fresa.
Fresa. Then, what do you think? Is she named Fresa?
Cool. So I think she looks quite cute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus a little bit on her hair. So I think it's quite nice for this session just to focus a little bit on our strawberry lady, just so that we can like build her up a little bit.
Totally.
I do want to work a little bit on her contours. So I mean, she needs a chin, let's be honest, because when I take away this top sketch, it's looking a bit serious. So
she needs a chin, let's be honest.
She definitely needs a chin. Any of this taken out of context is just bizarre.
Nice. Oh, Fairy says that as I was saying strawberry, it's basically said the same way as strawberry. So it's strawberry. There you go.
You just added your own spin on it.
It's STRO. I mean, stro.
Yeah.
Who knows? But thank you, Fairy, for enlightening me. Oh, and Rin says, ooh, I love the cherry eyeliner. Agreed. Oh, there's that chin.
The chin's coming in strong.
Love a strong chin.
So I'm just going to get rid of the glasses for a second because I don't want to neglect her ears. Need to make sure there's something going on here.
Agreed. Well, and the way that you're working is really animation friendly as well. If you wanted to move something, like say the glasses, I don't know, they go like up and down, you would be able to see something behind it.
Exactly. And you were saying earlier that that's one of the new features in Fresco that I still need to play around with, is that you can actually do motion now. And that's like, then you have to think about like what elements you want to move, how you want to create the sequence.
Have you ever wanted to animate at all? Any of your illustrations?
Oh, definitely. And I've only ever done it in Photoshop as like, using the frames. So it's quite basic. I've done, for example, someone with their glasses, like winking, pulling them down. So it's a really cool effect, but it is quite takes a lot of time to do. I've tried to like teach myself on the animation side, but it's quite time consuming. So I haven't quite got into that yet, but it would be amazing.
Well, in Photoshop, basically you have to do every frame as a layer, right? So it's pretty intensive to make that happen, especially
and you skip between the layers, and you have to figure out how to loop it back, and
it's much easier in Fresco, promise.
Yay. I don't know if anyone who's tuned in now has worked in animation. Let us know, and specifically if you've worked in it in tandem with illustrations you've created, because with everything moving to more of a video format now, I think it's such a sought after skill, even just the short animation sequences.
Yeah, just a little loop or effect of some sort.
Exactly. Cool. So I've added in a bit of a chin, got a bit of a shadow there. So I think she's looking a little bit more three-dimensional.
She is. I love her chin. by the way. Wade said motion! Exclamation point. Excited for Fresco's motion features. And Rin says motion is so much fun to play with. I think you'll really enjoy it once you have the time. Agreed.
Maybe I'll have to try it with this illustration afterwards and actually add some effects.
If you wanna. I believe if you update the app, it should be available. Everybody correct me if I'm wrong. I've been using the test flight version because I have access to like it's just a test version of Fresco where they try out new features and stuff. And it's in there, but I don't know. Is it updated in the regular app?
I'm not sure.
We will have to see because it would be super cool to add
whole new world.
I was playing around with it on my last stream, they have two different ways of doing it. So there's frame by frame, and then one of them is through paths. And you could just create like even a background element. Like your characters don't necessarily have to move, but it would be really cute if there was like a blink or a wink in there too.
Yes, I love a good wink. That always comes out so nicely, especially when you got cheeky glasses and you can kind of play around with it.
Alessandra said Leanne pronounced Frieza. Oh, how did you say it? Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. Correctly. Good job. So you got it. Fresa? Yeah? I think
that's the one, I think.
I just wanted it to be Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, you know. Gotta get your villains in here. Wade says that's correct. It's available for everyone now. Yay! Love to see it. Oh, and Rin says I see the icon for it in Leanne's app right now. So I think it's supposed to be the 3 circles at the bottom right. That's the motion
Oh my
tool.
gosh.
Yeah, so it opens a little tutorial for you to figure out how to use it. I'm
gonna have to try that at some stage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
So I've decided that I'm gonna add a bit of a bold check into my strawberry lady and see how it's looking.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to hide some of these layers because I just want to focus on her right now. And I guess it's good. You can kind of see how the layers are now as well. You can see this lady got her outfit and her hair gone. You see, there's another weird gremlin.
It must be connected with our strawberry lady.
Exactly where it is.
Nice.
That's when I was trying to circle something to show what I was talking about. It's come back.
Well, you did a good job.
Yeah, she looks cute. Okay.
She looks super cute.
So I'm creating a layer on top of my outfit. So you'll see that is its own complete separate layer. And then I'm just going to create a clipping mask on top of that. So it's all contained within that peach shape. So I'm thinking black and white, might as well. Let's see how it looks.
Go for it. Ooh, yeah. I already love it. No pattern, just black.
So I want to do a bit of a neckline.
Yeah, you know fashion stuff. So like, do you actually think about seams and structure and things?
I do. Oh my gosh, why can I not draw a semicircle? What's wrong with me? You see?
Because you're not insane, you know? A smooth circle.
There we go. I kind of got it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, look at it.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a check running down, and I'm kind of just going to follow the contours of her body.
I was wondering, do you go for lines first? It looks like you do.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the lines and then basically fill in the checks.
This way it keeps it so organic too, because it's true, it's flowing on fabric. So
yes.
But then you also have used the technique in some of your illustrations where you do like the flat version of a pattern on top of something that's like a organic thing.
So when I do that, that's often when I'm using Illustrator afterwards, because then I have a solid shape, a pattern fill, and then I just drop it in. So that's another way that I work sometimes, depending on kind of how I'm working. Today I'm only working in Adobe Fresco, so I'm creating the patterns from scratch as kind of line art.
For sure. And if you're just joining us, by the way, Leanne is making these original characters, kind of inspired by a lot of the patterns and fashions that you've seen in the mod era.
Yeah, in the 60s, like 60s mod fashion. That's right.
Have you ever fallen into a deep hole of research on a different time period?
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, every era has like really cool, iconic, you know, patterns and prints. I think now, you know, like early 2000s is also really in. Like you'll see it when you go into shops and retail, whatever's, you know, you'll see all those like crazy, like 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s butterflies and like all those little kitsch icons that we were so obsessed with have all come back. So there's many wormholes of fashion and patterns and, you know, using them in a modern way.
For sure. I remember seeing when the 90s was coming back, I was like, what?
It's so crazy.
Seems so recent. What the heck?
And I kind of regret not hanging on to some of my like flower power. You know, you had like the butterflies, the big flowers that were like on your little clutch bag. There's a lot of cool things happening.
Die to have them now, but as a kid you're like, but their stuff's cool.
Exactly.
Oh, this is fun. This reminds me of going back to like MS Paint days when you could like create a pattern and fill it in.
Exactly. But now I kind of feel I went too small on the check, because when I look at my inspiration, I feel like it needs to be big and chunky.
Big.
But don't panic. It's editable. We can do this.
I like this attitude. Don't panic.
I'm going to go back a few steps because I need to fix the teeny tiny grid I made. It needs to be way bigger.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. You're going to have to watch this all over again, but it's going to look better, I promise.
No, that's actually the beauty of being able to watch this. I think that it's kind of invaluable to see the way that other artists think. Like just seeing that you go back to the process of checking your inspiration, you know. I think we all need that the reminder to do that from time to time, like, oh, we're losing it a little bit.
That's true. Okay, so this should work better. Let's see how it comes out. So let me know if you think the big checks work better. Let's see when I fill these in.
By the way, Apruva has to go, saying, gotta go. Thanks for the lovely stream. Excited for tomorrow. We will be back at the same time tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And a reminder to those who are possibly watching on YouTube, if you want to be a part of the chat, come over to Behance and we will chat it up with you. It's behance.net/Adobe Live. Gotta finish the lines off.
Exactly. So some of these lines, it goes off the canvas, but the program still knows it's there watching you. So you got to go back and just make sure you actually loop those off. Mm-hmm. It's like a weird thing to do, but kind of second nature once you get into it.
Definitely.
Let's see. Oh, I missed one there.
Yeah, I like this chunkiness.
Yay.
And it's so funny how like a small warble to the line can add so much character when it's these big contrasting colors. Like,
yes, exactly.
Impact.
So I'm just closing off these two shapes, which I had neglected.
No neglecting the shapes. That's when the gremlins come.
Exactly. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. And don't forget, she actually has glasses on as well.
She's so cute. Oh, I love her design.
So I think what I'm going to do inside her glasses shape is just add another layer and then clipping mask it in there into that glasses shape. And then I'm also just going to add a little bit of like a high contrast, maybe like a bit of a stripe.
Ooh. Oh, this is fun. It's kind of mimicking that eyeliner look where it was like stripes on the eyelids.
Yes, that's so true. So I got rid of the sketch there just so you can actually see where I'm working.
See, now I'm stopping. I don't notice as much when you turn off the sketch layer because it's getting closer and closer with the detail.
Yes, exactly. So I'm starting to kind of like build it up, add those details that you need.
I need these glasses. That's what I need. They're so cool.
They're really, if you ever do want to go down a wormhole, just 60s glasses and sunglasses on its own is just a whole other genre.
It's so funny that that was like the accessory that was hardcore dove into. Like,
I know.
we're gonna make sunglasses wild.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. It works. But I do want to give her rose tint.
Yes. What kind of effect are you going for with this? Like for some transparency, do you think
Yes.
lower opacity?
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to just do a solid fill, but lower the opacity so that you can actually see through it to the eyeballs. And again, I can only do this because the glasses are its own layer on top of everything else.
Do you ever play with blend modes?
I haven't really, to be honest. Have you done that a lot?
Oh yeah, I use a
Is
soft
that
light
your
layer in almost
go-to?
everything. Yeah. I think once you find one that you like works with your brain, it can be kind of addicting, but
Ooh.
it's up to the artist.
Oh, so just a note here, the glasses themselves have to be at full opacity because that's the black frame. So I'm going to use the fill itself, the full color itself as a lower opacity and fill it in. Oh, but so you'll see this has happened because I have, you know, the layer of the stripes.
Yeah.
So all I'm going to do is just erase them within that shape, which is fine.
There you go. This is so cute. Oh my gosh.
So when I go to the white stripes, which is its own layer, luckily I can just erase them separately.
Man, you've got a good touch if you can just swipe by there and get it perfectly.
The key is not to overthink it.
Hesitation will ruin it.
Exactly. It's I kind of like the effect though at the same time of it kind of coming in, but let's get rid of these. See, I went too far.
By the way, we're getting some praise for this. Fairy was saying checkerboard pattern, I love it. Alessandra saying I love the shapes. Fairy popping in to say I love that you decided to make the pattern look very consistent on every part of your object, so like the shirt matching the glasses.
Thank you. I think she has quite a unique look now. She's kind of got her own style, so you can kind of start to get a bit of a personality from her just from the way she's standing, her face, her accessories.
Absolutely. Alessandra says the glasses and the shirt. I need all of it. It's really a whole ensemble.
What I'm going to do with the hair is I'm just adding a little bit of a layer within the pink hair. And what I'm going to do is taking the opacity way back up. Excuse me. I'm going to add a bit of a darker pink just to show a little bit of, oh, let me take it off eraser, a little bit of the shade underneath the bob. So I'm just going to do that as a clippy mask.
See, this is an interesting part because I feel like with hair, it's always a question of how much, right? Like how much detail do you add?
You could get lost in hair for days.
Forever. I'm still lost in hair from 1991.
And I am going to add more textured hair highlights using vector brushes, but these are basically just like the solid shapes that are going to give a little bit of dimension to this.
Nice.
So I'm basically just stroking from the bottom up just to kind of give a bit of that feel that the hair actually ends and there's a bit of a shadow underneath.
For sure, yeah. A little dimension.
Could also do a bit of like an ombre look if you wanted, I guess. Like I said, you could get lost in here for days, so
there's so many opportunities. Basically endless. Fairy's asking, did you make the pink low opacity? And yes, for the glasses, you did.
Yes, for the glasses, I made them low opacity, but I didn't do the layer as low opacity. I did the full color specifically. So instead of changing the opacity here for the vector layer, I went to, let me just move that away for you. I went to the actual color and changed the opacity there so that the black rims could still be solid black.
Very nice. And that highlights some of the control for just in Fresco, like using that for color. I never even thought of that. So you're blowing my mind a little right now.
Cool. So we've got the hair. I feel like we've got a little bit of dimension now. I don't want to add too much at the top because I think I'm going to go more in with vector brushes for some of the highlights, just so you get a bit of texture. This is more just mimicking some of the shading I've done on her skin, where it's just showing some of the bottom shadows of her features.
Nice.
I'm going to add...
Oh, sorry, go on.
You see what happened, yeah?
What?
Some of the pinks on the glasses layer. No one needs to panic. I'm just going to undo it quickly. Okay, anyway. As you were.
Okay, we're good. By the way, we have about 20 minutes left, and I want to just prompt the chat. If you have any questions for Leanne, now is the time.
So the question here is with adding a bit of glare onto the glasses, the rose tinted.
Ooh, I like
you can either just kind of go with the shape, or you can do kind of like a, you know, which can sometimes detract from the eyes. So I think what I might do is maybe just like on the side, something like that.
Fierce.
Figuring it out as I go. Again, just the opacity of the color is what I'm working with, not the layer, because I'm working on the sunglasses layer.
Clever, clever. Laura is asking, do you also draw in Illustrator on the iPad or only in Fresco?
I actually don't draw directly into Illustrator. I always do it on Fresco. And I'm sure you guys have seen this, but you know, you can send to Illustrator directly. You can send it to your desktop. So it makes it super easy, because if I send this vector to my desktop, I can also then just drop in different colors, play around with it, kind of like as a post-editing thing, and change the format of it. So
nice.
Yeah, but I do like drawing directly in Adobe Fresco.
For sure. Seems very intuitive.
Yeah. I do feel like she maybe needs a little bit of some kind of earring inspiration going on. So, oops. What I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to refer to my mood board again. I kind of like these chunky, I know it's not very high res, but I like the chunky, like geometric shapes.
Yeah, you've got a few diamonds in there.
Yeah.
Squares.
There's also these drop earrings, which could actually work really nicely. So I might do something like that.
Very nice. And I feel like with a bob haircut, earrings for some reason just work really well with that, even if it's long bob. Just like accents.
Exactly. So I can either do, now I'm just playing around, like those long drop.
Yeah.
Or you can do something like more chunky. This is just like a rough. What do you guys think? Long drop? Oh, whoa, sorry.
Oh, all black. You filled all the pixels. You did it. Good job.
And that's the end. Bye.
Fade to black. All right. So left or right, chunky or straight? What do you guys think? And while we decide that, Fairy is asking, do you have any tips on shading hair and making hair strands?
Yes, so what I'm going to do after I've done all the vector layers, and I'll just quickly create another thing here, is I often go back to my trusty pencil, which I've told you that I love so much, the pencil pixel brush. And that's when you really play around with some of the highlights of the hair.
Yeah.
And I think the trick with the hair, depending on what look you're going for, is you can either do what I'm doing now, which is like highlight strands in different sections, or you can do more of a graphic approach where you do line by line. And I've done both and I love both. It depends what look you're going for. So
I love them both. Oh, that's such a hard choice. Aja's saying straight earrings. Alessandra says long ones. D. Ross says gnarly. I think like a surfer, like gnarly bra, you know.
Well, I was about to say, that's my biggest fan over there.
Oh yeah. Love it.
Cool. So I think we're gonna go with the drop earrings, like the straight down ones, because she's got crazy glasses.
Well, there's opportunity for earrings on all of them. So if you want chunky, we've got two other characters. I think we're all going to come to your small pop-up shop where you sell all of these items.
So. Oh, can't wait. And this is where I'm maybe just going to have a little bit of fun, see what works.
Cute. I really like that, having a white element with it too.
Yeah, kind of ties it all together.
You can see her shopping in her mind, like, okay, it just has to be black and white. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like we all need to shop a little bit more like this, just like a whole look, head to toe.
It's definitely one of the markers of the era where it feels like they had a color in mind, or like a pattern or whatever.
I know.
It's all that. Like those the people sitting on the couch, the one where it was like minty colored, I think their entire outfit was exactly the same color.
Exactly. Why not? Even the shoes were matching, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like there was kind of a trend of that with, like you were saying, the early 2000s kind of looks being popular now. I've seen some like monochrome takes on that, and it's still not quite as, like one actual color. It's like shades of the color.
Yes.
So it's really impressive to see like, oh, wow, you got the whole thing.
I know. That's dedication.
Yeah. Ooh, I love these individual strands.
Yeah, so this is still a vector layer, but I do like to make the outline a little bit less solid. So you always, I mean, I especially always have flyaways, especially living in England where it's very rainy all the time. So you always have that like general halo effect.
Yes, the lovely halo.
I know, gotta love a halo. And this is where you can also create a bit of movement. So in this case, she's pretty much just dead on, but that's where you can create like the wind blowing and stuff like that.
By the way, Fairy says, I tried using the graphic line one and it doesn't work because my hand is shaking like crazy. Do you have any?
Try them really fast.
Okay, so faster is better.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself like sizing up or down to get that right line?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I try and keep to like a standard vector line just for uniformity, but some things you need to go thicker, otherwise you're trying to like, so her eyeliner, you can see I went like a lot thicker, and then her hair strands are a lot thinner.
Definitely.
So I am gonna and I know we like kind of nearing the end, so I thought it would be nice to just start with a little bit of the pixel brushes, sorry. I'm just going to add a few highlights into her hair, just like where the light's hitting her.
And what do you like, what is happening in your brain when you say like from one to the other? Do you have any reasoning behind it?
What, from moving from vector to pixel?
Yeah.
So the reason I use the I'm getting confused now, the pixel brushes on top. Pixel are these at the top that I'm talking about, by the way, is because vector, which is what it currently is, can look quite flat and kind of expressionless. So I like to add a little bit of that texture, because then it does kind of give it a little bit more of like that handmade feel, and the lines can be a bit more expressive.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I do that.
I like that. It's kind of like, oh, you've made this, but now you want to look like it, make it look like you made it.
Exactly.
Like, yes, there's an artist hand in here. And this is the basic pencil brush.
Yes, my favorite good old super basic pencil.
It's the best.
I just haven't found anything that just, gives me the satisfaction of a good old pencil.
I agree.
It just works all the time.
Consistent and lovely. And
exactly.
Just fun to work with.
It's the original like drawing tool for a reason, good old pencil.
Exactly. Thank you, Kyle Webster, for making some of these, well, and the whole Fresco team, obviously, making these brushes so intuitive and lovely.
I love that you put all that work in, and I'm like, I only use the pencil. That's all I need. Your job ends here.
5,000 brushes that you can have that shows all of them. I like the pencil.
Do you love the pencil?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just going to kind of, as I go down her hair, just at different areas, just add a few highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see how it kind of just makes the hair a lot more three-dimensional.
Absolutely. Instantly when you have the highlights going down, it's just, you can feel the like volume of the hair. It's
exactly
amazing. By the way, Aja says the chunky earrings will look great on the girl with the fro. When I wear my curly hair in a puff, circular earring pairs so well with it.
Ooh, okay. I think we're going to have to do that tomorrow, definitely.
For sure. By the way, we're going to be back tomorrow at the same time to join with Leanne for more of this awesome character work. So definitely tune in. Oh, and Rin says nice reasoning for the pixel versus vector, what you're using and when.
Thank you.
A+ braining.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I get full marks. I just want to quickly refer to my initial sketch, and you guys can maybe now see that I've brought the vector illustration a little bit more to life by adding the pixel brushes on top. It doesn't look as flat. But what I am going to do just to kind of start on is add a little bit more on the skin. So I'll just quickly drop this color.
Mm-hmm.
Same good old pencil brush. Here we go again. And I'm using the same layer as the hair because it's all the top pixel layer.
All above everything.
Exactly. So I'm just kind of adding a little bit of shading, kind of like where you would normally have shading on the face.
Mm-hmm.
So this is quite fun. I mean, you could go, no, that doesn't look right on the ear. You could kind of go on doing this forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really is addictive, actually.
Basically like finicky touching up of like, here's what I want.
Exactly.
Here's what I want. That's all of my artwork. Just go into full, what do you call it? Like oh golly, there's a perfect word for it and I'm totally just blanking, but like giving yourself what you want. Indulgence. There we go.
Yes. Well, this is why deadlines were invented, so you can eventually just abandon what you're doing. Otherwise, you'd probably just carry on forever.
It's never done, just do.
Yeah, exactly.
Aja says, I love the pencil brush. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. No need to reinvent the pencil.
Absolutely. Aja's also saying this drawing turned out amazing. I agree.
Oh, thank you so much.
Everybody, petition for Leanne to be back on Adobe Live again. Oh wait, tomorrow. It's happening.
I'm going to add a little bit of a lip shine as well. I think that'll work nicely on this layer. My brush is looking a little bit clunky there. I'm just going to make it a tiny bit thinner.
Tiny little baby brush. Are you doing vector or pixel for this?
This is still my pixel pencil.
Nice.
I think that gives it a little bit of dimension on her lips as well.
Definitely. Fairy says the pencil is the best tool for drawing for me until now. Until now. Oh, what's happened?
Oh.
But no.
We reacted like it was a good thing, and then we realized I just put her off the pencil for life.
I think it's always a good thing. You can always come back to your favorites. And one of the wonderful things about loving quote unquote basic tools or whatever is, hey, you can always have a pencil and a piece of paper and it feels the same, right? Or
That's
similar
very
too.
true.
So you'll never be without your art supplies.
That's very true.
Bryn says, yes, love the way this character has evolved over such a short span. So true.
Thank you. So I just realized a tip for everyone, including myself, is the highlight should always be like at the same angle. So I did the one highlight at a completely different angle and it just looked whack. Hence me redoing them, coming in at the same angle onto the glasses.
It's funny how some things, like realism wise, can be totally abandoned, and then others are kind of like, well, it looks off.
Yeah. It kind of still has to make sense, even if you're breaking the rules. It's kind of have to know the rules to break them. You know, there's that old saying.
Exactly. Did you ever learn like hard and fast rules for art stuff?
Yes, I definitely did. Back in high school, I remember like doing essays on analyzing paintings and all the different elements you had to understand, composition, color, perspective, you know, all that stuff.
Is that when you found yourself drifting towards art?
Yes, I think, well, to be honest, I've always drawn. I remember as a kid, which I actually want to revisit, I was obsessed with drawing mermaids.
Ooh,
so I actually want to dig out those old sketchbooks and actually see what those mermaids look like, because I think that would be really interesting. Probably where my pink hair inspiration's coming from now.
Yes.
Channeled through you guys suggesting to go for something slightly differently.
Agreed.
Is my mermaid pink hair?
That's awesome. Oh, we would love to see your mermaids if you find them by tomorrow.
I know, I'll have to have a look.
By the way, we've got about 4 minutes left, so we can just do whatever you want with the drawing, but also just everybody gets to appreciate this beautiful piece that we've created today. Say we, like I've done anything that you've created today. Great job.
You've kept me company and helped me with choosing certain things, so thank you.
Of course, yes, and thank you, chat, for keeping us all company. By the way, if you ever want to, Leanne, if you ever want to stream on your own or anything, Behance has streaming now, so just
yes, I definitely will. I definitely will. It's lots of fun. It's fun to have people involved in your process and ask you questions and make you think about things differently.
Absolutely. Just a constant kind of studio environment.
Exactly.
Ooh, pink line. I like that.
Exactly. I thought this black and white needed a bit of a pink accent.
Tie it together.
Okay, I'm going to abandon that one because that line was not working. I've got the shaky hand thing now. It's happening to me.
Oh, you gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
I know. Do as I say, not say as I do.
Exactly. Oh, and thank you, Wade, putting Leanne's links in the chat for us. Definitely check out Leanne's work. It's amazing. And we talked about your project. Oh, golly, I know it. The Embrace
Project.
Yes. So there are many things to check out. And we will be back tomorrow again, same time, just to remind you. Ugh. And tomorrow we have 2 other characters to draw as well, right?
Yes. And I feel like now that often in the beginning it's just figuring out what the look is, and now that I feel like I've got the look, you'll see the next characters evolve a lot quicker in terms of making decisions about the color and the prints, because now we kind of know what look we're going for, so that decision making is started, so it's a little bit easier to continue with.
Too true. That exploration phase, now you've gotten through it.
Exactly. And I'm just ending off with some, I've got the highlights, and then also want to add a little bit of the darker. So we did speak about hair. You can go on for years and years with hair.
Well, especially with these lovely marks that you're making, it's just like, it just keeps adding texture and volume. Rin says, I love that saying strawberry created this lovely stream of thought.
I know, it's amazing. It was not going in this direction, but you guys helped like steer it into this like new magical pink world.
Wow. Well, I just love how your inspiration came together with that idea, and it's got like this soft pastel with the really like heavy black and white like iconography kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's such a cool mix, and honestly it's very unique. I don't see this very often, so I'm loving
Thank you. The best of both worlds.
Absolutely, yes. Exactly. Like, what was that? There was a best of both worlds tour by somebody. Oh, it was Hannah Montana. All right, so we are at our time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back same time tomorrow, and we can't wait. Leanne, thank you so much for drawing with us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all being so involved. I loved it.
Absolutely. We had a time. So we'll be back same time tomorrow. Thank you, chat, for being awesome. Bye.